everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Nisi of Foxy Girl Creations. I am the creator. But today what we're doing is we're going to do a tutorial. I'm going to show you guys how I made this beautiful leopard print glitter glow in the dark tumbler. So yeah, this does glow in the dark. So I'm going to show you guys how I did that. And thank you for clicking on my channel. Just make sure you subscribe, like, click the bell to be notified, comment if you have any questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. But yeah, I'm going to show you guys how I did this. So stay tuned, stay with me, don't leave me, and let's get into it. All right, so as you can see by my hands, I went ahead and spray painted my tumbler all white. I got the tumbler from Walmart. And I'm using clear cast amazing epoxy that I got from Michael's. And I'm just filling the cup up to that line where I just showed you where my finger is, right below that yellow line. So you have to use equal parts of this epoxy. So you use part A, part B, and make sure that they're measuring out the same. All right. Once you have them measured out, you want to combine them into 1 cup together and carefully pour them into 1 cup. You want to make sure that, again, you're getting all of the liquid out of the 1 cup and pouring it into the other, because you want to make sure it's as close to equal parts as possible. Sometimes it can be hard going from 1 cup to the other, but as you can see, I am scraping to get all that I can up out of that cup. All right. Once you have all of the epoxy mixed into, well, poured into 1 cup, you want to start the process of mixing the epoxy together. This is very, very important, just as important as making sure you have equal parts. You have to stir, and mix this epoxy together for 3 minutes. It's going to turn cloudy first. As you're mixing, you'll see it turns a little cloudy, but you want to keep mixing until it's crystal clear. So you want to go mix. 3 minutes. You want to mix for 3 minutes. And I also have like a little stopwatch or my cell phone off to the side so I can keep track of the time. And as you can see, that's what I was just doing, checking the time on my cell phone. So now that it's been 3 minutes, you want to scrape off the popsicle stick. And also make sure that you wear gloves. I don't know why I didn't have on gloves. I think I'm a pro at this, but make sure you wear gloves. It's very important for that. Okay, so now that we have the epoxy all mixed up, we're going to take this blue glow-in-the-dark mica powder that I got from Amazon. I'll put the link in the description below so that you can go straight to it to get it yourself if you want to use it. But when I do this process, I don't have an exact measurement that I use. I just know the results that I want. So I just keep adding the mica powder so that I can get it as deep into the color that I want it to be. So I want this blue to really pop. So you will see that I use a pretty decent amount of mica powder for this process. Oh, and once I get the mica powder into the epoxy, into the cup, I should say, I pour some epoxy into that cup so that I can mix them all together. Okay, so now I have my desired amount of epoxy into the cup. And so you're just going to mix it together. You see how deep that blue is? That's what I want. I want the cup to have a deep blue so that glow really shows. All right, so I'm going to turn the turner on. I got my turner from Michael's. I just wanted to try out the little new turner they had. I ran out of gloves, so I have what I call is finger condoms, but they're actually little finger gloves to protect my fingers from the epoxy, so I can pour it on, smear it in. So as my cup is turning, I just pour on 1 line of epoxy and rub it in with my finger. And I just keep going until the cup is thoroughly saturated with the epoxy and the mica powder colorant. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that process. And I'm not going to talk you to death, but also make sure you hit that bottom, because the bottom of the cup is just as important as the other parts of the cup. Important, it's a very important word today, honey. So yeah, just make sure that you're getting your cup nice and coated with the epoxy and the mica powder. The first coat is not going to be really deep, so we are going to do two layers of this so that we can make sure that that blue is really blue and popping. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and I'm just going to fast forward a little bit through this and let you listen to a little bit of music. All right, so now we got all of the epoxy and mica powder mixing out of the cup. So you want to hit it with that heat gun, which I also got from Michael's. Use that 40% off coupon, y'all, and make sure you get that rewards, whatever it is, because you get some money back. I'm just trying to get the last little bit about that cup, and there we go. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking some more mica powder and putting it inside of one of those cups and mixing it with that glitter. This is how we get the glitter glow. The glitter glow, honey. So yeah, you got to mix the mica powder in with some glitter, mica powder in with some glitter. Again, no specific measurements. I just know that I need to make sure that that glow pops and that I got a little bit of bling, bling, bling going on, which is why I added the glitter. And you want to try to use the same color glitter as mica powder, or get as close as you can to that color so that it doesn't look a little crazy. So I'm just going to sprinkle that onto the cup while it's still wet with the epoxy so that the glitter and glow powder mix will stick to the cup and I don't have to do any extra anything. And again, we're going to go through this again another time with the second coat. So this is not going to be the final look because it's going to look a little spotty. It's going to look like your mama cut your hair a little bit. So yeah, don't get discouraged because this is not the final look. See the bottom got those little spots on there? Yeah, no, that's not what it's going to look like in the end. So just stay with me. Stay tuned. Be patient. We going to get through this. So yeah, this is the process. Keep sprinkling that on there and we'll be right back. Okay, so now we're just about done. I'm just emptying the rest of the glitter that's in the cup on out of the cup onto the tumbler. But what's irritating me watching this video back and making me cringe is that I was so wasteful and did not put a piece of paper or something up under there to catch that glitter, and it's just like driving me crazy. But needless to say, nice cup so far. We're gonna move on to the next step. Okay, so now what you're looking at is the second coating that I did off camera. So you can see it's a little bit deeper. The color is beautiful and that glitter is like paya. So yeah, it's shining and it's spinning still wet. And here we go with the glow in the dark part. That is so cool. That's before I even put the decal on. So we're still not done. We still have a couple more steps to do. So we're gonna go on over to the Cricut machine. All right, so here's our image right here over to the right. I got the image from Google. I did a free search for leopard prints, and that's what I found. So I went ahead and removed everything I didn't need and uploaded it to the machine. So now we're just gonna go ahead and go into the customization part of it so that we can get it measured out to the size that we need so that we can move it over to the mat and get to cutting. Okay, so here we go. We have it onto the machine, or onto the design space, I'm sorry. So upload onto the design space, and I'm going to change the measurements to 11.5 by 11.5. I want to make sure that it's a little bit larger than what my cup is so that I have that hangover if I need it. All right, so we have it onto the mat. Now we're going to go ahead and click on continue. All right, and I have my material set to vinyl, as you can see, so that it knows that we're cutting vinyl right now. And I'm going to go ahead and load my mat into the Cricut machine and click on the highlighted little C and get to cutting. So that's what you're seeing here, that it's showing that it's doing the cutting process. We are 1%. We want to get all the way to 100%, and that's how you know that your cutting is complete. All right, so this is what it looks like when it's cutting. This is the actual cut process. That's the little C I was telling you need to hit when you're ready to start. That's how you know it's set to vinyl, the little dial tab. And here it goes. You can see it's cutting out the animal print that we want for our cup. So that's that process. I love the Cricut machine. It's like the best thing that I've ever invested in for my business. Get you one, honey. All right, so now it's at 100%. We are done. So we're going to unload the mat from the Cricut machine and start to weed out the material, or weed out the vinyl. I like to go over the vinyl before I actually cut it, take it off, or start the weeding process to make sure everything is laying down flat. This is a little bit easier to weed for some reason. I don't know if it's because I'm using removable vinyl. I forgot to let you know that. This is removable black vinyl that I also got from Michael's. I think I got this from Michael's. But yeah, so the weeding process is really easy. Sometimes it can be tedious, but this was pretty simple. So you just pull off what you don't need, throw it in the garbage, and what we need is those little pieces of the leopard print. So I got stuck right there for a second, but yeah, it's pretty simple. Just take it off, throw it away. Okay, so yeah, I'm going over a little bit more with my little scraping tool, and I noticed a spot that was missing, or a little gap that I didn't like. So instead of weeding out that little piece that I took out, I would normally throw that away. I just moved it to that spot, and I'm just doing a little quick check to make sure I have everything weeded out properly before I start the next process. Now that we have everything weeded out, you want to take your contact paper and put it on the top of your vinyl so that you can transfer your vinyl from the piece of paper that it's attached to onto the contact paper to your cup, if that makes sense. So you want to carefully roll the contact paper onto there since it's a bigger project. I'm doing it a little bit piece by piece, and that extra white piece of paper you see under there was parchment paper. Somebody said it makes it a little easier to do it that way, but That just slowed me down, honey. So you see, I took that away and just did my regular process of roll and scrape, roll and scrape, roll and scrape. That way I'm not making a contact paper. Sometimes it can get tangled up within each other. If you do it, just lay it out there and just put it on there. So to avoid any air bubbles or anything like that, I'm taking my time and doing a roll and scrape, roll and scrape, roll and scrape until I have all of the contact paper onto the vinyl like I need it, so that I can transfer it from the contact paper to the cup and not mess anything up. Okay, so now we have the contact paper all attached to the vinyl. I'm just cutting off the little excess of contact paper there off with my little rolling cutter that I got from the Dollar Tree. I was shocked to find something like this at the Dollar Tree. It's just really cool. It came in handy. So yeah, I'm just cutting off the excess off the sides before we start the process of removing it from the backing for the vinyl. So again, I'm going to try this little process of with this parchment paper that everybody keep talking about. That's supposed to be easy, but I don't know how that's going to work for me. But you see how easy that was to just take that off. I kind of like removable vinyl, but it's just not something that I think I want to work with a lot because I like permanent vinyl also. But it's so easy to weed this removable vinyl. Blah. So yeah, you see I'm laying the parchment paper out onto there and I'm leaving a little piece out so that I can start that piece onto the cup versus having all that exposed transfer paper and vinyl, which can get stuck onto stuff. So yeah, I have this little tray that I put my cups inside of so that they don't roll and I can have better control of them. So I put them inside of there. I only paid $1 for it at the Dollar Tree instead of making that little thing that everybody has. I'm cheap, so I try to find the cheapest way I can around stuff sometimes. So you see, I'm just pressing the I was about to say panda print. Lord have mercy, the leopard print. When the pandas have prints, but leopard print onto the cup, and I measured around a little bit just to make sure that I had it nice and neat and that the line that it's gonna line up and properly and not look weird. So yeah, just now I like how I have it, so I'm just gonna scrape that down, make sure that's on there, and start the peel away process. So yeah, lift that up, expose some, and then carefully just rub it on there. And I think at this point I had already removed that parchment paper because that wasn't working for me, so I just did it this way, where I just exposed a little bit of it from the vinyl backing or from the from the vinyl backing, and then just slowly rolled it off that way and scraped it, rolled. Basically the same way I did when I was scraping it onto the contact paper. Now we have removed all of the backing from the vinyl. Everything has been exposed and onto the cup. So what we're going to do is cut off the excess vinyl that we don't need and sit that to the side, because I'm going to use a little bit of those pieces for the bottom. Remember, we still have to make sure that the bottom is covered in uniform than like the top. We don't want to forget about the bottom. So I'm sitting that to the side on top of that parchment paper that I was using. So I'm now using that to store my vinyl, my excess vinyl. So I'm going to cut it away from the top and the bottom of the vinyl after I get everything pressed down off onto there. Okay, now I got all of the excess cut away, so I'm just smoothing down the vinyl, making sure that it's stuck to the cup before I attempt to remove the contact paper from the vinyl. I want to make sure that it's there and it's stuck so that I don't have any issues of it lifting up when I remove the contact paper. All right, so now I'm just finding a spot to start the removing process, and I'm just lifting, and I had to use my little weeding tool to get that part up. But yeah, just go ahead and remove the contact paper from the vinyl so that we can move on to the next step. This is where you can see the leftover pieces that I had that I cut away and set to the side are going to come into handy. So I'm using those little pieces to fill in gaps that I feel need to be filled in. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just going through, inspecting the cup and filling in gaps where I feel like they need to be filled in before I move on to the spray painting process. I want to make sure I have all of my prints exactly where I want them to be before I spray paint. All right, so now I went ahead and spray painted the cup black. And of course, you can still see the little decals on there. So I sprayed on top of the decals because I want it to have a leopard print. So the cup is now spray painted black. And we're going to move on to the next step of removing the decals from the cup. Okay, so first, before we remove the decals, we're going to add this mica powder onto the cup. Um, I can't remember exactly what color that was because it was so quick when it flashed in front of the screen, but I'll make sure I put it into the description. I know it was an iridescent type of color. I got it from Michael's. And it looks a little orangish when I'm putting it on there, and I actually didn't expect for it to come out this color. I don't know what I was actually thinking. I thought it was going to come out white, like a white pearlish like color, but I guess that iridescent pigment mixed with the black gave it this unique orange-ish light color. Either way it go, I still liked it. I liked how it turned out. I still love how it gives that different type of shimmer when you turn the cup. When you're looking at it, it gives a different type of shimmer. So I like that coloring of it. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and use a paintbrush, dip it into the mica powder, and just brush it all the way around the cup until I get the desired look that I want on the cup as far as the color goes. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go through with that. Okay, so now I have the mica powder all over the cup like I wanted, and I'm just going through with my finger and brushing off any excess mica powder and actually rubbing in the mica powder to make sure that it's nicely coated onto the cup itself. Okay, so now we're moving over to the process of removing the vinyl from the cup to expose the leopard print pattern that we have going on up under there. You want to make sure that you're very careful with removing the vinyl because you don't want to scrape the mica powder or that paint that you have there because it's going to leave a mark. So yeah, I'm just going through and carefully removing it. Now, you see when we first started with that iridescent mica powder that it gave off an orange-like color, but now it's starting to look purple, which is beautiful. So yeah, we're just gonna go through and remove the vinyl to expose the leopard print pattern that we have going on up under there. All right, we are all done. We have all of our vinyl removed, and as you can see, it looks so nice. You see that leopard print pattern is beautiful up against that blue. So, yeah, so this is what it's looking like so far. We're almost there to the end. We're almost at the final step, so let's move on to the epoxy. Okay, so I've already mixed the epoxy together. That process I already showed at the beginning of the video, so I didn't want to go through it again, but it's all mixed up. I mixed it up for 3 minutes, and it's ready to be spread onto the tumbler to give it that final shiny, beautiful look. So that's what we're about to do now. We're about to go ahead and add that coat onto the cup. So along with this final coat, I decided to add a little bit of fine glitter into the epoxy. It's not, it looks like it's white, but it's not actually going to show as white. It's just going to give an extra little pop to the cup as far as the bling, to make sure that that purple iridescent mica powder that we added still has some type of shine or bling to it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and add this final layer or final coat of epoxy to the cup so that it can be nice and shiny, glossy, and smooth when we're all done. So go ahead and watch that part, and I'll see you in a minute. All right, and here we go. It looks so beautiful. You see that little extra glitter that I put on there that's shining on the purple iridescent color? See, it didn't come out white. It's so pretty. But that's what it looks like so far. It's still turning on the turner. And we'll be right back with the final results of this beautiful glow-in-the-dark leopard print 20-ounce tumbler, honey. All right, now she is all dry and looking so beautiful. That purple came out looking really nice, nicer than what I expected it to look like. But you can see that glitter that I added at the end in that last coat shining and showing on that purple. So remember I said it wasn't going to be white, it was going to be an iridescent color, and that is just so, so beautiful. And oh my God, that glow in the dark came out so perfect. So perfect. That blue is popping exactly like I wanted it to do. And it's just giving me life right now. I'm telling you. So if you want to recreate this beautiful cup, make sure you follow me, subscribe, like, comment, all of that good stuff, because I have a lot of more content coming up that is just as bad as this cup. I'm telling you, this cup is beautiful. So you can do it with any color that you like. If you recreate this cup, please make sure you tag me. Follow me on all of my social media. Foxy Girl Creations on Instagram, 2X's, and Niecy Robinson on Facebook, and also Foxy Girl Creations on Facebook as well. So just keep in touch, and I just gotta say, I thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for taking the time out to learn with me today. And again, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask me in the comments. I will try my best to answer every single question. Thank you guys so much, and God bless you. Have a beautiful day.